Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a really fascinating leap back in time, exploring the food medieval people actually ate.
Yeah, specifically vegetables.
Right. And if you're listening because you want to get the key info quickly but thoroughly, well, you're in the right place. We're going to take you through these lost foods.
It's quite the journey. We want to figure out, why were these things so valued back then?
Exactly. What happened? Why did they disappear? And maybe why should we take another look at them today?
There are definitely some surprises in here, some real aha moments, I think.
Okay, let's start. First up is skirret. The video calls it a forgotten superstar root vegetable.
And apparently super low maintenance, especially compared to, say, modern carrots.
Yeah, it says you basically plant it once, and these sweet little roots just quietly multiply underground. Almost no effort.
Like a savings account, but it grows vegetables.
Yeah. A hidden treasure trove with almost no work. That must have been hugely appealing back then, right? All that manual labor.
Absolutely. Minimal input, sustained output. A perennial that just takes care of itself. That's gold for food security.
And the taste.
Yeah.
Supposedly much sweeter than carrots or parsnips.
Really? Sweeter?
Yeah, naturally sweeter. So sweet that medieval nobles were apparently huge fans.
Wow, a vegetable with a royal fan club.
Seriously. They even demanded it be grown in the palace gardens.
That says a lot, doesn't it? Sweet things weren't everywhere like they are now, so a naturally sweet root. That's special.
And here's a key point. Its reliability, especially in harsh winters. When other fields were barren, skirret could still be harvested. The video calls it the comfort of the poor man's table.
That's powerful. Food security was everything. A tough, reliable root vegetable would be invaluable.
And versatile, too. Medieval cooks weren't just boiling it. They roasted it, put it in stews,
Okay.
even used it in sweet pies. It was kind of the medieval potato, wasn't it? Before potatoes even got to Europe.
That makes sense. That kind of versatility is what makes something a staple. Its decline probably came when, bigger, faster roots became the focus.
Okay, next. Alexander. A bold plant, the video calls it.
Right, brought to Britain by the Romans. It had the ambition of a weed and the taste of a delicacy.
I love that description. Like, finding out your annoying neighbor is actually an amazing cook.
Exactly. It just grew vigorously, but apparently it was delicious.
And you can eat pretty much the whole thing.
Seems like it. Stems like celery, leaves like parsley for soups, flowers and salads, the roots.
Even the seeds, like pepper.
Yes, seeds as a pepper substitute. A whole edible toolkit in one plant. Very efficient.
And it could get tall, 6 feet. With yellow flowers, good for insects.
And it just grew. Coastal areas, cliffs, roadsides, no help needed.
A freelance vegetable.
Perfect term for it, self-sufficient. Shows the kind of natural abundance they tapped into.
So why did it vanish from the menu?
Well, the video suggests celery basically replaced it by the 1700s.
Right. And now people walk past it wild and have no idea it was once food.
It makes you think about how tastes change and how knowledge about wild edibles just fades.
Okay, let's talk about Good King Henry. Great name, though apparently nobody knows quite why it's called that.
A bit of a mystery. But its usefulness wasn't mysterious at all. Super reliable.
Easy to grow, like growing dust on a bookshelf. Easy.
Apparently. It just comes back year after year, no replanting needed. Huge advantage.
So nutritionally, pretty good.
Oh yeah, more iron than spinach, lots of vitamin C, really important, especially in spring when other fresh stuff was scarce. A real safety net.
It was like 3 vegetables in one.
Sort of. Young shoots like asparagus, mature leaves like spinach, even the flower buds like little broccoli.
The video called it a medieval 3-in-1 kitchen gadget, except it actually worked.
That's pretty good. Again, maximizing the usefulness of one plant throughout the season.
Plus, medicinal uses, leaves on wounds, root tea as a laxative, nicknamed All Good.
Seems like it lived up to the name.
So why did it fade away?
Commercial agriculture seems to be the culprit there. Big farms focusing on single, high-yield crops probably pushed out these versatile, easy-care plants.
Makes sense. Okay, now for something a bit weird. Salsify.
Ah, yes. The root that confused medieval farmers. Is it a root? Is it an oyster?
Exactly. Because apparently it tastes like oysters when cooked.
That's the claim. A very unique flavor for a root vegetable. It shows you the kind of diversity we might have lost.
The video really doubles down on it. Vegetable equivalent of someone showing up at a costume party dressed as seafood, only to win the most convincing costume award,
Huh. So it genuinely has that oyster taste.
which made it super valuable during Lent, right, when meat and fish were off limits.
Exactly. Monastery records from the 1400s show they grew it specifically as a fish substitute.
And there were two types, white and black.
Both long, thin roots with dark skin, need peeling. Don't judge a root by its cover.
Right. Underneath that skin was something valuable.
Especially in winter. It was one of the few fresh things around. You could leave it in the ground or store it for ages without it spoiling.
And that's huge before refrigeration.
Absolutely vital. Made it a cornerstone of the winter diet.
But it faded too. Why? Slow growth? Unusual look?
Probably a combination. Maybe not as pretty or quick as other options that came along. Efficiency and looks starting to matter more.
Okay, get ready for maybe the strangest one yet. The medlar.
Oh, the medlar. Definitely unique. A medieval delicacy that modern folks would likely avoid.
Yeah, because it looks kind of wrinkled and mushy when it's actually ripe.
Exactly. Our idea of ripe has really shifted.
Off the tree, it's like a small brown apple with a weird open bottom, and it's rock hard and totally bitter. Inedible.
Right, so you had to bled it.
Bledding. That sounds technical.
It just means letting it sit and basically start to rot in a controlled way for weeks until it gets soft and brown.
Controlled rotting. Okay. Doesn't sound appealing yet.
But the result was apparently like a sweet cinnamon applesauce texture.
And medieval people loved that.
They did. Cookbooks from the 1200s are full of medlar tarts, jellies, even wines.
Wow, quite transformation. So they needed patience.
Definitely a different pace of food preparation back then.
And unlike salsify hiding its goodness, medlars were apparently quite obviously odd-looking.
They proudly displayed their oddness, yeah. That open bottom led to some very colorful nicknames.
Anatomical ones, I gather. Too rude to repeat.
Let's just say medieval farmers had vivid imaginations, but it shows the fruit was distinctive, part of the culture.
And timing was key, right? Ripening late in autumn.
Yes, and after bledding, they stored well, provided rare sweetness deep into winter when fresh fruit was gone.
Crucial. But again, modern agriculture preferred faster growers, longer shelf life.
Convenience won out. The time needed for bledding just doesn't fit the modern food system.
Okay, switching gears completely. Chickweed.
Ah, the tiny plant with white flowers that grows absolutely everywhere.
Whether you wanted to or not. The video calls it the uninvited guest who shows up at every party but brings enough food to make everyone happy.
Great analogy. It highlights using what's freely available, the wild edibles.
You couldn't stop it if you tried. Any soil, any season above freezing, thousands of seeds.
And instead of just weeding it, medieval people recognized it as free food. Smart.
It shows a different relationship with plants, doesn't it? Not just cultivated versus weed.
Definitely. A broader understanding of what's useful.
And nutritionally. This little weed is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
7 times more vitamin C than oranges by weight.
Wow. 7 times. That's incredible. A royal provider of vitamin C, indeed.
Peasants, nobles, everyone ate it in winter, apparently. Vital for staving off scurvy.
Makes perfect sense. That vitamin C boost would have been critical.
And it had medicinal uses, too. Cooling for skin, tea for fever.
Seems like it was genuinely useful all around.
Yet today,
Mm-hmm.
we mostly try to kill it with herbicides.
Yeah.
Treat it as a nuisance.
It's a real disconnect, isn't it? Discarding a free, nutritious food source because it competes with monoculture crops.
Okay, next is scorsonera, another one with a slightly dodgy name.
Huh. Yeah, it sounds like something you'd want to avoid, not eat.
Comes from the Italian for venomous snake, right? Because they wrongly thought it cured snake bites.
An unfortunate origin story for its name.
But medieval folks found out it was actually delicious. Often confused with black salsify, but milder, sweeter. Hints of asparagus and nuts.
Sounds quite appealing, actually. More palatable than the name suggests.
And its superpower was storage.
How so?
Harvested in autumn, buried in sand in a cellar. It stayed fresh until the next summer.
Until summer. That's incredible shelf life before refrigeration. Massive for food security.
No wonder it was popular in monastery gardens. Good flavor for fasting days. Plus medicinal uses, blood purifier, stomach calmer.
Monasteries were often centers for preserving this kind of plant knowledge, both culinary and medicinal.
And the video mentions you could impress your neighbors, saying you were harvesting your scorzonera.
Bit of medieval foodie one-upmanship.
But yeah, modern grocery stores, fridges,
Yeah.
they made that amazing storageability less essential.
Availability replaced the need for long-keeping varieties, sadly.
Right. Now, for the Welsh onion, which has an identity crisis,
Go on?
not from Wales, and not really a true onion.
Okay. So what is it?
The video calls it the medieval vegetable version of those fake designer products that somehow work better than the real thing.
Huh. Huh. I like that. So it's an imposter that delivers.
Basically.
Yeah.
Came from East Asia, probably via trade routes, but medieval farmers loved it because it's perennial.
Plant it once, comes back every year.
Exactly. Multiplies into clumps you can divide. There's even a medieval text saying one plant could feed a family for 10 years.
That's sustainability right there. Minimal effort, long-term reward. Very medieval.
And the main use was for the green tops, right? Not the bulb.
Yeah, a steady supply of fresh, green, oniony flavor, especially when other stuff wasn't growing. Used in soups, stews, salads.
And hardy.
Yeah.
Stayed green through winter.
Most winters, yes, provided those crucial vitamins year-round. So its confusing identity didn't stop it being useful.
But eventually, people preferred true onions with the big bulbs.
Tastes changed. Culinary needs shifted towards the bulb, I suppose.
Okay, next is fat hen, another wild one.
The one that just volunteered in fields and gardens.
Yeah, the uninvited dinner guest who turns out to be a master chef.
Again, medieval folks using what was readily available, even if we'd call it a weed today.
And nutritionally, fat hen is off the charts. More protein than cabbage, more iron than spinach, more calcium than kale.
Seriously, that's a proper superfood we're talking about.
Definitely. They might not have known the specific nutrients, but they knew it was good stuff.
And the name, fat hen.
Comes from it being great poultry feed. Made for plumper chickens, better eggs. Good enough for your chickens, even better for you.
Dual purpose, nice. Human food and animal feed.
Archaeological evidence shows it was eaten during famines, too. A real lifesaver.
Critical for survival in tough times.
Cooked like spinach, used in salads, seeds ground into flour. Very versatile.
Yet modern farming often sees it just as competition for crops.
Right, waging war on a superfood we could be eating.
It's a strange paradox.
Now for a former superstar.
Yeah.
Lovage. Unlike fat hen, this one was apparently highly prized.
Interesting. So why did it fade if it was so well regarded?
Good question. Romans used it. Medieval monks grew it for centuries. The flavor is intense.
How intense.
Like celery mixed with parsley but multiplied by 10. Or celery with superpowers?
Whoa. Okay, so a little goes a long way, presumably.
Definitely. One sprig could flavor a whole pot of soup. Use dried on meat, seeds in bread, roots boiled like parsnips.
Even candied stems.
Candied stems as sweets. Really wide-ranging uses.
Very versatile. Clearly valued for that strong flavor.
Plus medicinal uses, digestion, bloating, diuretic. Monks use lovage tea for stomach and kidney issues.
And it's hardy, lives for ages.
Up to 20 years. Survives harsh winters. Makes you wonder why modern gardeners don't grow it more.
So what's the theory for its decline?
The arrival of new, maybe more exotic spices through expanding trade routes might have just pushed it aside. Novelty won out.
Globalization impacting local food traditions again. Makes sense.
Okay, nearly there. Corn salad is next. Another naming issue.
Nothing to do with corn, right? Maize, I mean.
Nope. Gets its name because it grew wild in grain fields, which Europeans called corn, before maize arrived.
Ah, okay. That clarifies the name origin.
It's these small, tender grains. Pop up in autumn, stay green all winter. The quiet kid in class, overlooked because of a weird nickname, but turns out to be the most interesting person.
I like that. So it was a wild winter green.
Exactly. Mild, nutty flavor, no bitterness, harvestable even in the cold.
That winter availability is key again. Fresh greens in January, yes please.
And nutritionally, another winner.
Yeah.
3 times the omega-3s of iceberg lettuce, plus iron and vitamin C.
So it had an identity crisis and a PR problem.
Pretty much. And modern agriculture preferred lettuce, longer shelf life, easier harvesting.
The usual suspects. Efficiency, marketability, trumping resilience, and nutrition.
Okay, penultimate one. Tansy. Bold flavor. Indispensable back then. Almost vanished now.
Tansy. I know the name. Fern-like leaves, yellow button flowers.
That's the one. Bushy perennial. And the flavor. A real punch. Bitter, spicy, sweet complex mix.
The kind of flavor medieval palates liked, apparently. Modern analysis found over 40 flavor compounds.
Oh, wow. The video compares it to a loud rock band.